Well, hello, I'm back. Sorry I've been away. I've been really busy with work and I've still been creating, but I haven't been filming because I've just been only been able to do bits and pieces. And sometimes it's at night and I haven't worked out how to film at night yet without shadows. So I'm showing you a layout that I've recently created and I'm really come down to the end of my January hip kit. So I wanted to show you what I do when I get down to just a few bits and pieces and really scraps. So I'm using a piece of paper that I misted for my Artful Crafts misting inks and splattering tutorial, and on that video I said that I wanted to use all the pieces they were really demos of how to do different types of splattering and misting. So this one was with the yellow, was perfect for this photo, which has got my baby daughter in a yellow top. And it's quite a neutral photo really because we're in a park, so there's sort of sand or stones on the ground and a wooden fence, and I'm wearing blue jeans and just a black and white top. So it meant that I could really play with a bit of colour on this layout. So I've taken that, I think it's crepe paper cut apart, and I really felt that heart just needed to be cut out and turned into an embellishment, and I love doing that. I love getting as much as I can from the paper in terms of turning them into embellishments. So I've also punched that little tab there, and that will end up on the top of my photo. Rather than mat my photo on white cardstock, which is pretty much my go-to, I've used that piece that's got really fine sort of gold, I guess it's gold, stripes on a white background. So here I'm just layering, and this is really my go-to style. I know I've been doing a lot of different types of layouts lately, but this is always a style that I will fall back onto, especially when I get down to scraps, and that's just to build up some layers around my photo. And I just love the look of different papers and different colours. I'd love to have a full sheet of that marbled paper, so here I'm just using the branding strip and I'm cutting a small piece into a banner. And then I'm just going to decide where to place it. And I didn't want to put it at the bottom of a photo because I like the fact you can see my favourite brown boots. So purely a fashion decision there. Now this layout's pretty quick, and when I get down to these just odds and ends of papers, I find that I just make decisions quickly because the paper is already cut down for me. So I might need to do a little bit of trimming, but generally it's just a case of putting the paper down because I want to get as many layouts as I can from each of my kits. Now we're looking pretty happy in that photo. That photo was taken by my husband, I think it would have been September or October last year, and it was school holidays and we went to Dunedin, which should take 3.5 hours from Queenstown if you go non-stop. However, when you've got a baby and two other young children, it can take a very long time to get 3.5 hours away. It took us 7.5 hours to get from home to Dunedin, and the main reason was because toilet stops, food stops, nappy changing, feeding the baby, playground stops, and food stops, and more toilet stops, but we got there eventually. So here, I'm using the word here. I'm just using my watercolours and my watercolour pen and painting that yellow. So I'm the kind of person that would be tempted to keep all of those white because I absolutely love them, but they are made to be coloured, so I just wanted to play around. I love how it looks, and it's a little bit, well, it matches the yellow stripe on the paper, and so almost goes with the mist, but I'm not worried that it's not a perfect match. Now I find that double-sided tape holds really well when you've got quite a lot of layers like I do, so I'm using a tape runner in this one too, but I wanted to put that double-sided tape on the back. I found these cork embellishments really hard to use. I love them, but I don't know if it's because some of the papers are, I don't know, dreamy, or I don't really know how to describe it, but the cork's quite bold, and the papers that I've chosen are more softer, I guess, softer patterns. And so at first I didn't think I could use them, but you'll see at the end of this video in the final shot that I did find a way to work them in, and that's really because I have hardly used any of them and I just really need to get them down onto my layouts. I've got a lot of these ephemera pieces left and I'm not worried about it because I know I'll be able to just continue to use them up with other layouts and add them to my stash. So I've put that heart on Stampin' It! Dimensionals, and I just love the little bit of lift that it gives. This photo was actually quite hard to scrap because I love it so much, and there's another photo where Brielle and I are both laughing, and I did think about scrapping the two together, but I think I'm probably going to make either Project Life series of layouts, because I've got a lot of photos from this trip, so it'll either be Project Lifestyle or mini album. But I love this photo so much that I thought I'd save the not so nice one for that album or Project Life spread and use the one that I love to be on a single page and probably go on her scrapbook album. I've struggled with using those Dear Lizzie stickers as well. I want to use them, but I'm just finding it hard to get them on the page, a bit like the cork. So what I have been doing is sticking them onto cardstock and cutting them out so they're not, well, they're slightly translucent, so it just gives them a heavier look and makes them opaque. At this point I decided to use this piece of paper which I've cut down before for the other side. So my aim here is to make it look like it goes right across, even though I've only used two little pieces, and I think that's a good illusion of having more paper than you actually have, and also a really good way to use up scraps. So now I'm trimming down this paper because I want to back it on the piece of paper that's got, it's like a navy polka dot, but the edges of the polka dots are uneven. So I'm just going to show you quickly that I use double-sided tape and just four around the edges, and then place it down, and then I'll stitch around the edge of that to secure it more. So at this point the title, which is here, is wet, and so what you don't see is that once it's dried I will stitch it and it's in that position where it is there, and I just stitch right across on the photo in all the layers. And I've got a pretty new sewing machine, and it's really awesome that I can do that because my previous sewing machine could only really handle about 2 layers of paper. So here I'm journaling, and the journaling is pretty much what the photo shows, because I think it's a really important memory to record that it took us 7 hours to get to Dunedin. And so here we always stop in Lawrence, and the kids love playing in the park, and there's a really good ice cream shop, so I'm just explaining that. Dropping on some Studio Calico ink, and it's a dark navy blue. I didn't think black would work too well with this layout. Okay, so there's the final layout. You can see where I added the cork in 4 different spots, and I threaded some string through the ones at the top and stapled it down. Welcome to my new subscribers, and thanks so much for watching, and I'll try